"Feed me," the warship whispered, "or we all go dark." Kai's throat closed. The cannons hung like wilted flowers. The hull trembled. Enemy pings skittered across his headset like nails on glass. He had minutes. Maybe less. Captain Rowe shoved him toward the throat of the ship. "You're the teller," she said. "Tell." He knelt on the warm metal. It beat faintly, like a tired animal. "Okay," he said, though his voice shook. "Bedtime, then." He pressed his palm to the living conduit. The ship's fiber opened like a mouth. Warm air brushed his skin. "Begin," it sighed. Kai breathed in oil and salt and the faint smell of rain. "Once," he said, "there was a boy who stole a light from the tail of a comet." The corridor lights flickered. The cannons twitched. Crew hands froze over dead screens. A distant drone screamed past the viewport, hunting. The boy held the light in a jar. Kai went on. He saw the memory clear. He saw small hands and cracked glass and a grin with a missing tooth. He kept it to scare away night. He kept it to find a lost path. The ship hummed, low and hungry. "More," Kai swallowed. The boy's sister thought the light was a seed. She planted it in a tin cup. She watered it with tea. It grew into a tiny tree of blue fire. A glow rippled down the spine. One cannon lifted a few inches. A console coughed to life. Crew gasped like after a held breath. Captain Rowe leaned in. "Whatever you're doing, don't stop." Kai nodded. The enemy pings grew louder. Mylar wings. Cold mines. They were closing in. He kept the story simple. Short sentences. He walked the boy and his sister down the alley behind the boiler, past the weeds, past the mural of a storm whale. He told the ship about their father, who never came home. He told it about the night. The blue tree flickered like a heartbeat and the boy promised he'd never be afraid again. The ship drank. Every word, he felt it take the fear from his chest and turn it into heat under his palm. He felt the deck steady. Metal tightened. Cannons lifted another notch. Someone shouted, "Power at 16%. "Legend says," the ship murmured, "a teller's breath makes steel remember." Kai almost laughed. It sounded like a nursery rhyme, like the ones his mother told before the sirens. A whisper in the conduit. "Hungry." "Okay," he said softly. "I'll give you more." He lowered his head. He spoke about the cup of tea that never cooled, about the blue tree that bent toward the window as if it knew the stars by name, about the day the boy broke the jar and let the comet light fly free, and how it circled them like a tiny moon. A second cannon snapped upright. An enemy drone clawed across the viewport. Talons shining? It fired. The shield took the hit and groaned but held. The room rocked. Crew cried out. Kai kept his mouth near the conduit. "Don't stop," Captain Rowe said again, but softer now. Like a prayer, he gave the ship little secrets. The boy's shoes with different colored laces. The sister's laughter when rain hit the roof and the blue tree answered with sparks. He fed the ship the warmth of a kitchen, the smell of burnt sugar, the echo of a lullaby hummed off key. He felt those pieces pull out of him and melt into the hull. Power climbed. Lights steadied. The ship's voice deepened. Fuller, not full, more. Kai started to tell the next part, how the boy and his sister hid the blue tree when soldiers searched the building. When a cold fact slid into his brain, he couldn't picture his sister's face. He froze. The memory was there a moment ago. The grin, the missing tooth. Now it was fog, thin and moving. He whispered, "What are you taking?" The ship purred. "Fuel stories," he said. "You eat stories." "Stories are only true when someone remembers," the ship said. "I eat truth." He looked up, heart stumbling. Captain Rowe watched him with tight eyes. "Problem?" Kai forced a smile. "No," he pressed his palm back on the mouth. He had no time for panic. Drones wheeled outside like vultures. He had one job, keep this giant heart beating. He lowered his voice. The soldiers came. The boy hid the cup under the floorboards. The blue tree dimmed, but it didn't die. The boy whispered to it. He said, I'll trade anything. Just keep her safe. The ship trembled. Trade, it echoed. The conduit warmed, almost tender. A new memory burned bright, but it wasn't his. A child's voice in a cargo bay. A lullaby in a language he didn't know. Metal listening in the dark, then answering with a new word, stay. He staggered. You're remembering, Kai breathed. You were told bedtime stories before. Silence. Then, forbiddance. What's forbiddance? Feeding after sundown, the ship said. Feeding with truth. It sounded guilty. It sounded sad, a warning siren wailed. A drone latched onto their hull, cutting. Sparks streaked across the VIEWPORT. Kai had to choose. Keep his life or keep them all alive. He gave the ship everything. He spoke of hiding in vents as a kid. Of the first time he saw a warship rise from the bay, dripping like a god. Of the promise he made at 14 to never bow to a voice that called itself higher. Of the night his mother lifted him from a burning stairwell and sang, even while coughing blood. He spoke until tears slid into the conduit and the ship drank those too, cannons locked. Shields flared. Screens bloomed with data. Crew cheered. Captain Rowe's hand trembled on his shoulder. Now, Leviathan, she said to the ship, eat. The ship's spine arched. Light raced along gun lines. The cannons tracked the drone on their hull and fired. Point-blank. The drone became a ring of sparks peeling away into the dark. More targets, someone called. 6, no, 8. Hungry? Kai whispered, dizzy. The ship exhaled. A gentle sound. A child after soup. I'm full. The bridge went quiet. The ship's lights softened to a calm blue. The enemy formation paused, as if listening. Kai blinked hard. He tried to recall the face he'd lost. A shape hovered and then slipped away. The ship spoke again, small as a secret. I remember the one who fed me first. Your first teller? Kai asked, who? You, it said. All breath left him. That's not possible. Long ago, the ship said, you promised me a last story. On the viewport, the enemy ship split apart, revealing a larger silhouette gliding forward. Its profile matched their own. Same bone, same cannons. Same blue glow. The cum cracked. A voice came through, soft, familiar, and wrong. Kai, it said, open your mouth and say goodbye. He knew that voice. He didn't know why. He looked at Captain Rowe. He looked at the ship. His hand shook on the conduit. The larger silhouette opened like a flower, building voltage. How do I know you? He whispered. The ship answered with a shiver. Because you taught me the word stay, and then you left. The viewport flooded with light. Want the next turn of this war song? Follow now so you don't miss part 2.